Anyway, she's doing good. Way we go.
Good.
We're trying to get her to dueling dogs, and we may both have to hold her up if she has a beer.
That's all right.
I'll be happy to help.
There you go. Tell her she's got all kinds of help.
All right. So we've got, looks like we've got a quorum, so we can move forward, I think, if you guys are ready.
Yep, you bet.
It is currently 4:03 p.m. And we'll go ahead and get started. So I had sent out the February minutes from last meeting. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those. Any questions or comments or corrections that anyone saw? No.
I'll move approval.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor to accept the minutes from February?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you very much. Those are now official. All right, why don't we go ahead and move into the club financials and
Okay,
have Graziella go through those for us.
all right. These are the financials for the month of March 2021. Cash in the bank is $25,117.20. We have $1,254 in accounts receivable at the end of March, but most of that is paid off by now. Prepaid expenses are $2,311.12, of which Cuvée 1,000, the Women's Club rent 200, Rotary International invoice of 1,286, and the PO box fees. Accounts payable, we have a $75 Downtown Lincoln Association. I assume, Brian, you're going to talk about that.
I'm going to talk about it.
The downtown, yeah, you said you would. $75 for the dues for the Downtown Lincoln Association. Or, so if you're going to pay it.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
Yeah. No, I was just going to bring it up and see if it's something we should do. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll talk about it later. Intercompany, $5,224. This has been taken care in the meantime. I transferred it on the internet, on the website, bank website. So that's all done. Deferred revenue, we have still the $6,590 for the Vine Fest, which brings us to a year-to-date loss of $1,808.61.
Okay. All right.
On the
Sounds
next
good.
page, we have the budget performance.
Yeah, I
not
probably
much.
don't have to go through this one. Unless
No,
someone-
because there hasn't been much change on it at all. So if you have
so
any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to
Yeah.
respond.
From my perspective, we can actually just jump to the back page unless someone has a question about anything on any other page.
I had a quick question. The Intuit rent for $70 a month. Do we do that for all three corporations? Or is there any chance?
I'm
For
sorry.
two.
Gabrielle, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brian, please.
Yeah, so we have two of those, and I think it's a good thing to revisit. So just a quick background on that. Back when the club was handled by one treasurer and the foundation by another, we opted to move towards the online version of QuickBooks, and that's what the Intuit invoice is. And we opted to go online because we had different people, and it would allow us to kind of share things easier than with the desktop versions. So we started moving in that direction. The downside to that, one of the downsides to QuickBooks Online was each individual organization had to have its own subscription. So while they're linked when you go into QuickBooks, each one has its own fee. So, so it really, now that our books are all under one person, I don't see any reason why we couldn't back away from that. We can cancel at any time. It's just a month to month. I think we should look at, and I saw an email from Art, I think, about the same thing for, I think it was properties.
Right.
Or the foundation, one of the two. I think we should, consider eliminating the online version, going back to a desktop, get the latest version of the desktop for Graziella, and then working from there. That's my thought on it.
Well, I didn't need that information.
Brian,
Yeah.
what's the cost on the desktop?
That I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
It's $299 normally.
Okay. Yeah.
One
But
time? Is that one time?
that's one time, but I think we can get it cheaper off from if we go through the, oh dear.
TechSoup?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So let's say it's $300.
Yeah.
In a month and a half across 3 organizations, we've saved the money. And with QuickBooks Desktop, we don't have to update it every year. We can go several years with an older version unless there's something specific that we want out of the newer version. And so we can really, in a sense, spread that cost or use of that. Over a few
Yeah,
years.
it comes out to a little over $2,500 the way it's set up now.
Yeah.
So you guys are the experts, but I just wondered if there wasn't a way of combining something.
So
I hope-
Graziella, since you're doing the books,
Right.
what's your preference?
I'm very open to anything, because even I think QuickBooks, even if we have the desktop version, I believe, we could have I think 1 or 2 seats or 3 seats, and then you can access that also somehow. But I don't know exactly how it works. But so I will definitely check into it. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is Intuit. I just for everybody to know, I hate Intuit. I love QuickBooks, but I hate Intuit. Intuit is basically the owner of QuickBooks. They don't allow you from the online version to save the file. So that's where I've tried that to do it, and because if I need to transfer it over to the desktop, if I don't have the saved file, I would have to start all over again, and there would be no history. But I will check into that. I will see what can be done,
Okay.
and then I will get back to you on that.
Okay. So yeah, let's look at that for next month. But I think we'll end up going in that direction.
Yep.
I don't know what the conversion's like from online back to desktop.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, desktop to online was actually pretty easy.
Right.
But yeah, so let's put that on for next month to revisit that with some specifics based on what Graziella finds.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, just to let you know, I got a text from Karen Johnson. She said she would be on around 4:30
Okay.
joining
thanks.
us. And I think Richard Pearl has joined us as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Okay, so if there aren't any other questions in the club, the one thing I just want to touch on is the last page, which is accounts receivable. So a bit of good news, which is that Anna Marie, when I called her, she said she was really unaware that she was that far behind and profusely apologized, said she wants to remain in the club. She's just been extremely busy. Of course, it's a busy time of year for her being in the tax business. So she did pay her amount. Now, and Graziella, correct me, so you've received it, it's just not reflective on this.
Yes, it
statement.
came in April, yes.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
so this accounts receivable is as of March 31st, but
Yeah.
the payment
Okay.
came in April.
All right,
And also the 540 that you see in the third column, that's mostly gone because all these payments, most of them came in April.
okay. So really, the only thing left of any significance, if you will, is Bill Runtani. So
Correct.
I spoke with him. I don't remember exactly when it was now, probably earlier in the month, but he was surprised that he had an amount due in arrears and that it was so high. He's really sure when I talked with him that this had been paid, and if he owed anything, it's something more recent. So we did resend the invoices. We send him the information of each thing that's outstanding and the dollar amount and when it's from. And the last I heard from him is he was going to look into that from his end to see if we can reconcile that and either find out where the incorrect posting happened, or then we'll have to revisit it if in fact it's still an outstanding amount. But in his mind, he didn't have anything outstanding. So just an update on that one.
When did he put in for leave of absence?
He hasn't put in for leave of absence. He put in for a transfer is what he was looking to
Okay.
do.
Oh, no
Yeah.
leave of absence. Okay.
Yeah, and that was, gosh, that was probably 5-6 months ago now, I think.
But I don't think we've been invoicing him for new dues,
No.
quarterly dues, have
Yeah,
we?
we haven't done that.
We suspended that, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah, we suspended billing him new dues. We're just trying to get this old one cleared up, because as soon as we get that cleared up, then we can technically transfer him in the system.
That has to be the first statement for this year, which was $200 and some or something, as I recall. Anyway.
Yeah, it does date back to the very beginning of this fiscal year.
Right, and we also want to make sure that we get that resolved in short order, because otherwise he rolls over to our Rotary roster for next year, and
Right.
we're going to be responsible for paying international.
Well,
So
if we don't resolve it, we could terminate him as a member, but he
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to join the other club until he pays us.
Yeah, so I think, we basically have 2 months by hopefully we'll review this again next month, see where we're at. I'll get back in touch with him, see what his review is showing on his end. Hopefully we resolve it that way. My guess is that if we have to do it in June, maybe what we end up doing at that point is doing a write-off on it as a club, so that we don't carry him forward, to Christine's point, because then we get billed for
Right.
next year for him.
I'll make a motion, we terminate him before June 1.
All right.
Well, I'd
well,
suggest we wait till next month to
Yeah.
decide that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Be
we
my
could do
comment.
it at next month's meeting or June's meeting. The main thing would be get him off the books by the 30th of June, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, then we'll revisit that next month. I'll get a hold of him, find out what the status is on the information we sent him in his review. All right. Anything else on the club financials? If not, I'll move to accept the March club financials.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, they're in the books. Sounds good. Thank you, Graziella. And why don't we move on to a quick review of the foundation and then properties, please.
Yep. So this is the Lincoln Rotary Club Foundation financials for March. In the cash in the bank is $41,646.69. We have for the garden part, 3,000.
Hey, Graciela, that's That's not what my graphic is showing here. You said
Now, are you
41,000 what?
adding-
Uh-oh, did I?
772.
What is? Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah,
need to
actually, the
change my
printout
notes.
I have is different than that too.
Okay, sorry, I have to change my notes.
Okay, yeah,
There
so
must have been an adjustment, something. Okay. $41,772.69 in the checking account, and then $3,750.14 for the community garden.
okay.
Total is $45,522.83. And accounts receivable, we have still the same amount. There has been no $4,190, which is the senior center, and for 3,000 and 1,190 for Ryla.
Okay.
Intercompany, I already talked about with the club. So these are the funds that are getting back transferred over. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I think she was yelling at her dog.
Oh, okay. Prepaid expenses is the joiner storage for April. We have everything has all our investment funds have been moved to the Vanguard account now, and we have $93,087.36 in the Bradford fund. We have $16,881 in the permanent fund. And we have $29,724.87 in our temporary fund. Then moving farther down, we have accrued expense is still 13,840, which is 13,500 for the Lincoln project, and then we $340 accounting for March. We have deferred revenue, $6,343.65. And it brings us to a fiscal year-to-date net income of $25,143.54. On the next page, we have the budget. Oh, sorry. This is the class. So statement of income and expense. Here you see it broken out, the income statement broken out by each department. We have the first three columns are admin, and then we go to donation, online auction, to the Lincoln, Vanguard, community, and youth services. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you will see the net.
Okay.
These are
So on the
all,
online auction we made, that's the net right there is 20,168.
yes.
Very nice.
So that's the, I'm sorry, hold on, I need to look at my financials here.
Well, here's the online auction up here, so I'm just going down.
But if you, so that's all, you have your income, yeah, income is $28,392.50. And 8,220.36 is the expense, which is a net of 20,160.
Turned out to be a beautiful project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Not bad for an hour. I mean, there was a lot more work put in, but it lasted an hour. That was great.
Well,
Do we know if that income, the revenue side, includes the donations from like the Board of Supervisors and all of that?
No, in this statement here, that one was put in under, let's see, gonna look at this. It's difficult for me to tell you in this one. I have to look at the other statement, but it's
It
not.
might be in the
No,
transactions,
so
right?
Okay, so let me just explain real quick why, Christine. Karen and Joanne, and we were all talking about moving the donations and sponsorships under the fundraisers directly. So that for in this, what you're looking at, the net 20, that does not include what we got from the county supervisor. That money you would see under the donations.
Okay,
Yeah, donations general. But it'll change next month when we, the numbers will change next month.
gotcha.
And then here's the budget performance.
Get you to the right page. Hold on. You tell me what page do you want me to be on here? So let's see. We think we,
It should have been before this.
yeah, hold on. Let me go back
So
up.
one, that's now the next one should be the one more page.
This is what we just went through. Yeah. So
Right.
one more page.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. So here is again, you see the online auction. It's nicer to see in this way. See the third column shows budget over or under. That was basically 28K we did not expect.
I imagine the Placer County Supervisor is probably in the corporate sponsor number, right?
That is right there. And this is gonna be eliminated afterwards, and we're gonna put it under the fundraisers.
Okay.
Oh. Here you see the 8,000 expenses for the online auction, which is the credit card fees and the merchandise.
So Graziella, with that change, the net for the event will go up. Is that what you're saying? You'll have more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
so the expense will stay the same,
Correct.
but
Only the revenue will go up.
if there's sponsorship or donation that is tied to the event, then that'll be reflected as income.
That is right.
Okay.
There's a reason I asked, John.
Yes. So the negative 6,000 there is because we didn't fund, obviously, the foundation. We haven't done any funding from the properties to the foundation. That's why we show a negative of $6,249.
Where was that?
Huh? Oh,
Where
I'm
was
sorry.
Am I on the wrong page?
Right below community. Let's see. I just had right below community garden income. It's under other income.
Okay.
So right below the garden income.
Okay.
So other than that, is nothing much.
Okay.
These are the transactions for the month of March. Oh, January through March, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there's a lot of transactions here because you got 3 months worth.
Yeah.
There's county placer deposit right there, 2250.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, corporate sponsor. Okay.
Yep. It's one more page.
Oh, well, I guess we don't need to make any
Yep.
motions because this is handled by the foundation
It's
trustees,
just informational only.
Yep.
right?
So
Okay,
we
you want to go to properties?
Okay.
The good thing on the foundation is that it's cash rich. We got 71,000 between the CD and the bank account and
Yep.
about 13 to 15,000 on liabilities. So we're maintaining around 55,000 cash flow wise.
It's amazing.
Yes, amazing for this year.
Yep.
Delightful, delightful.
Okay, Graziella, you want to tell us about this quickly?
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry, you guys. I thought we were still talking. Okay, this is for the LRC Properties, Inc. Cash in the bank, we have $37,627.22. And a little bit of depreciation, not too much. Okay, moving further down, so we have accrued liabilities or accrued expenses or the March expenses for the Robert Dart expenses and Kathy and accounting. Then we have, as of March, we had $75,37 in property tax accruals. We had some deferred revenue of 1,450, which is the prepaid PG&E and MSI and the security deposit. These are all liabilities that, you know, we don't have yet. So just for your information, the property taxes are paid in April. So this accrual will go to zero. We have a net income of $2,926.89 for the fiscal year.
Good.
And then here we have the budget. We have there's a negative 22,000 that was put in the budget a long time ago. We were expecting the stock cash to come in sooner, but it's not happened yet. That will happen very soon. The rent I did already talk about, so that's why we are all above budget of $2,270 fiscal year to date because of PG&E and MSI. So expense insurance is almost zero. Accounting fees, we didn't have, there was no accrual for the legal fees of $6,550.22. Then repairs, we had actually expected to have a lot more repairs in 2020-21. So we are under budget of $3,570.56, but that's going to change. Property taxes, that was just, we don't have yet the Marysville assessment. So that's one reason for that difference. Utilities we're right on. Transfer a little bit further down, transfer to LRC Foundation, we have not done. So that's why that shows as not, we have it budgeted, but we didn't transfer it.
And I don't think we're going to, right? Because we've got that letter of credit or the
We're gonna
line to
hold
pay
on.
off.
Yeah, the line of credit will probably have to be settled. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hold on until everything is regulated. This is a quarter-over-quarter financial statement. You see each quarter what the income and expense was. So we show more this quarter because of insurance has gone back because it's all paid off, but we're gonna start a new one soon. Let's see what else. The legal fees were killing in the second quarter, and Yeah, management fee. So maintenance, we had a little bit of maintenance in the second quarter. We haven't had anything in the last quarter. It was winter. It's also seasonal. Property taxes, the first quarter, we did not accrue anything for the property taxes because we didn't know then what they were. So we started in the second quarter. That's why it's almost double, because it includes the first and the second quarter. But it should be about 7,000 per quarter. And then this one's
Mhm.
a little bit of depreciation. Net income for the quarter, $6,853.12. And then this is by property. So on the top, you have the income by property and showing each individual building, what the revenue is and what the expenses were for the month.
Mostly insurance.
Mostly insurance, yes. So one thing we could do going forward is, instead of showing all the administrative expenses in the admin, what I would maybe suggest, usually in the corporate, this is usually divided by each property. So if you want to see it more like just under the properties, or if you want to see it separate, so that's up to you.
I'd leave that up to the board.
Yeah, if you want it allocated, to each property.
And we can talk about that at the.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
bottom, here's the net income for each property. The utilities are only for the one property in Marysville. And then here, this is for the parcels, so the ones that have no building on. So we see the $770, that's from PG&E and MSI for using our lot. We had a little bit weed eating at the beginning on the first 3 lots. The property taxes have been proportioned for each of the lots. So basically, the main cost is the property tax. There's just a slight little bit of maintenance, like weed eating. These are all the rent income and all the transactions for the month of March. And then accruals.
Looks good.
Yeah, while we have a lull, I just want to thank Graciela so much for taking on 3 different organizations,
Thank you.
bookkeeping and accounting, and you're amazing. And I'm so happy and thrilled to report she's agreed to stay on next year.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're our financial angel.
I would second that. She's done a fantastic job for us. Yeah, really has.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
I would make that 3rd for fundraising.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal working with the people we contracted with and getting everything set up. I mean, we couldn't have done it without her, period.
Yeah. Well, that, treasurer and secretary always seem to be the 2 hardest, and she's just grabbed the bull by the horns and is doing a great job. We really appreciate it.
Well, it definitely helped me getting through the COVID, that's for sure.
Something to do. That's good.
Yes, thank you, Graziella, for all that you do. And yeah, things seem to be moving along really smoothly on the bookkeeping side of things. So thank you for all that.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Okay, why don't we move on to some committee reports? Clark, we'll start with you with membership mentoring.
You know, I'm going to take a fair amount of time talking about Paul Harris, the Paul Harris Club, which is under old, and also the return to
Okay.
in-person meetings. So I think I don't really have much to add other than thank Christine for driving the City of Lincoln's membership. So she's getting that squared away, and we are going to have the the new
Corporate
police
member.
chief, Matt Alves, is going to be the primary member for the City of Lincoln. At least that's
Is that our
last
first?
I heard.
Is that our first corporate membership, at least as of the club
Yes.
we are today? Yeah,
Yes.
nice.
So currently I've got Matt Alves as the lead, and then Holly Andriata is going to be a secondary, and I want to get at least one more. So I'm going to be sending out an email to city staff and, really kind of emphasizing how this is an exciting opportunity for them, and see if I can get a third and fourth.
And we'd really like to get Jim Bermudez.
Okay.
Because we have so few Hispanic members, and Lincoln has such a huge Hispanic population. We think that he would be fantastic
Let
if
me
he
talk to
would
him.
be an alternate. Great.
Yeah, let me talk to him.
Great,
Cool.
fantastic.
Clark, has anybody had a chance to contact those two people I referred to you for membership?
Not yet, but I have it on my list. You see all the
Good.
stuff I did last week. It's insane. But yeah, I have it there. Yep.
All
I will
right.
get them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Clark.
Yep.
Karen, fundraising. You're on mute, Karen.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Last month, we had talked about how we had classified all of the fundraising expenses and income, and that some of it was a little messed up within QuickBooks. So Graciela made a recommendation that we removed sponsorship category, moved it once under each event, and then added the Wine Fest as a community event. At first, she had it under foundation, but it's now going to stay under club. And we added restricted donations for funds with a specific contribution objective. Like some people have donated stocks or like $1,000 to go into what we consider to be the permanent fund, which is the foundation area that we only touch when we have something special that happens, like the big fires in Paradise, where we touched that, which was not basically in our general giving objective for the year. And so I had I sent out her recommendation to Jerry and Joanne and Brian and Christine and John, and some did not answer, so I'm assuming that they're just fine with that. And Christine was fine with the way that Graciela reorganized it, and so it probably will make a whole lot more sense next year under the reorganization. It really just kind of tweak things. So unless somebody has some objection, Graciela can move forward that way. Graciela, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so probably the decision is, should we start that as of the new fiscal year, or should we start it right away?
I would say might be a good time to start changing that now so that it starts off the new year with that new format.
Okay.
So if, and if you don't have time to do that, then.
Oh, no, it's not. No. It's fine. It's not, that's not, it's just whatever you prefer. Yeah.
My only thought was, first of all, for everybody who hasn't seen it, it makes it so much clearer what's coming in and what's going out, where and for what. But we're talking about migrating our financial software from in the cloud to on a more server based. So we might
Yeah.
want to get the answer to our question about how easy is it going to be to transfer all that onto a laptop before we jump into making a bunch of changes
Yep.
and then having to
Thank
do it
you.
twice. Yeah,
Thank
you don't
you.
want to have to do
Yep.
it twice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Anything else, Karen?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I don't know if Christine is going forward with that chair of fundraising, or if she's found somebody to do it or what.
I've not had a lot of takers. I'm sure you're really surprised by that.
I am surprised by that. The one thing I'm concerned about is because we're having moving the Tour de Lincoln to the fall, now is the time, and typically this is the way it should be, but we haven't really done this in the past. Right now in April is when we should be deciding what is our goal for fundraising for next year. This year, as Brian knows, we worked hard to get maybe 2 things that we were going to try to concentrate on. And we wound up mainly concentrating on doing the reading program for 2 schools with the format that was laid out by the YMCA. My suggestion would be, and take it for what it's worth, is that program is fairly expensive. It's about $4,000 per school. We did 2 schools this year, and I think that would be something that we could move to more schools, and it can be a multi-year project for our main goal for Rotary, Lincoln Rotary. It's a truly an educational, anti-bullying, good citizenship kind of program that is healthy. And I think that is something that we ought to take a close look at as pushing that forward.
And Karen, I'm glad you brought that up because Jerry sent me an email because he's working on the sponsor letter for this year. And I know that was kind of what we advanced as that was our big fundraising push in that letter. And so I kind of wanted to reach out to Chris too and see maybe when she gets to youth services can fill us in on what the perceived success of that. What was it? Counterpoint or
Cornerstone.
Cornerstone.
Yeah. So maybe Chris, if you can, when you get to your report, fill us in a little bit about how successful you think it was. I mean, I know in these last year of COVID, it was probably a little difficult to administer, but hopefully moving forward, it's something we can talk about. And as far as fundraising goals for this year, which will be funds that are used for next year when Kimberly's president, we definitely need to engage her in those discussions.
Yes.
I'd suggest a goal of lots of money.
I like that goal.
Yeah, we really need to raise, in my opinion, about twice as much as we raised this year for us to be able to have all the money that we want to do for our community and the greater community.
Yeah.
To really have an impact. We need about that much money. We haven't really reached that. Last year we got close to it, but my goal has always been that we really should strive to $60,000 to $70,000. A lot of people don't agree with that, but that's my thoughts on it. Then we have enough money to do all of the programs that we really think need to be funded each year, locally and even internationally, with our partners, mainly our partners in Mexico and some other ones.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Karen?
No, that's it.
Great. Thank
So
you.
Karen offline, if you have any recommendations for a fundraising chair, I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to comment on the fundraising, et cetera. Because the properties is budgeted $20,000 that would come from properties to the club or to for use for the club each year, or 2022, I forget what it is.
25.
But what we're finding out is those funds are not going to be available this year. And if we want to look at our budget for the next 12 months on those properties with the increased property taxes, increased insurance costs, increased about everything, plus the fact that those properties are sorely, we're doing slumlord maintenance. They need paint, they need dry rot fixed, etc. And one of the things that we look at now, we're looking at just the rents on the properties, but we have very valuable assets sitting right beside them. And we've had inquiries about possibly selling a lot. And if we actually would liquidate one lot, we could get the properties fixed up, and we could match the annual budgeting to provide in addition to our fundraisers. And then we got 5 other lots sitting there for the future, or whatever plan is such. But I get a little bit of heartburn that we're doing kind of a slumlord basic program here. Maybe we can talk about this more under properties, but we have assets that could be turned into providing funds for what we as Rotarians want to do in a given year.
So Daryl, I have 2 comments on that. Number 1, please do not use the term slumlord in front of the chief code enforcement officer.
I won't use it for them, but I do.
Number two, yeah, I think that's really a discussion for that board to have and come forward with recommendations to this board. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that's a smart approach, but I think that's what's been holding that whole conversation up is we haven't had title. We've been waiting for the judge's order. There's just been a lot of that. But I think once all of those pieces of the puzzle fall in place, that's something for that board to come forward with recommendations.
Which board are you talking about?
The properties board. Yeah.
Yes, we can make that happen.
It is on our agenda.
Right. And that's what I assumed. That's the appropriate.
It will continue to be front and center. So,
right. And that's the appropriate place for that discussion. I mean, we can obviously give you our list of wants, and I think you just heard it from Daryl, but it's ultimately a decision for you guys to make a recommendation to this board.
Yeah, I agree. And I still, and I'm not going to spend any more time here, but just to say one thing, someone said 50 or 60,000. I think you could sell all that stuff, invest it, draw the income off of it every year, and fund 60,000 in perpetuity. But that's, again, as you guys brought up, that's for the other board to decide, and then bring it to the club.
And just one other small point, it costs us between $11,000 and $12,000 a year in property taxes, et cetera, for those lots. The properties board will make a recommendation.
Okay, all right.
The only thing I have on that is, do we have a timeline for them to report to this board or to make a recommendation? I mean, we talking like maybe 4 months, 6 months for a recommendation to come forward? What are we thinking, John and Daryl?
I think 2 to 4 months is.
Yeah, sooner than that, I would think.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that with a little bit, because if we're going to take title, there's no reason not to consider selling a lot unless somebody has it.
And I guess that's really has to come first. We're waiting for the court on the title.
Yeah. And the property board has discussed it, and I think the vast majority of it, the property board will recommend liquidating one lot and giving us the ability to fix up those properties or deferred maintenance. Is that better, Christine? Deferred maintenance?
I like deferred maintenance. And just as an aside, just because we don't have title quite yet doesn't mean that the board can't make recommendations about what to do when we do achieve title. So
I agree.
I agree. The board could decide that and have it ready to go so that the day we get title,
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
ready to move.
Okay,
All right.
so let me ask one quick question. I know you all want to get off the subject, but so we have this formerly known as the Property Disposition Committee, which I think is more the strategic planning committee that is charged with should be charged with doing a business plan. But you've also got the board trustees, so I think we need to make sure who's doing what.
So, yeah,
Let me just finish. So my only comment was I was kind of waiting for the property manager's report, which I think
Right.
we just got. By the way, I didn't hear what happened at the court on Monday. Maybe that was mentioned in today's meeting, but John, could you tell us real quick what happened? Well, I guess you,
Yeah, they really asked for any input from us. It took 5 total minutes, I think. And they're ready to settle the trust, and we're kind of waiting to hear from the court in writing.
so the judge, is it Friday? So the judge didn't make it. Wasn't the court hearing on Monday?
It's on the 16th.
Yeah, the court took it under submission. So
Okay.
when they take it under submission, they have up to 90 days to issue their decision, but I can't imagine, given there's, no objections really of at all that would take that long, but
I just hadn't heard what happened on Monday, so thanks.
yeah, the court just took it under submission, and so it's going to be a matter of processing the paperwork through the clerk's office.
It was
really
all-
mid-July, and if it's sooner than that, then you can be happy.
I think we can assume that what was in the papers is what's going to be the order.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very
And-
positive.
And to clear up, so we discussed this on, I think it was the properties board 1 or 2 months ago, which basically, although there's this committee that's gonna come back to the properties board with recommendations, if the properties board decides they want to move forward on something, they have every right to do that. Really, it's just a committee that's getting some information back to the board. So if in this case, the property board decides we're going to sell one vacant property and the committee hasn't finished their stuff yet, then so be it. It's the board's prerogative. But then they have to bring it back to the club board for the club to decide from that point moving
Yeah,
forward.
if we
Both-
sell, I think under the MOI, the club, the foundation, and properties board all have to say yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Right.
So, yep. All right. So didn't mean to talk over you, Clark. I thought we were wrapping up on your comment there. Okay, anything else before we move on? Karen, you took a lot of time there with your fundraising.
No, sorry.
Sorry. Public relations, Shanti's not here. So we'll move on. Youth, Chris.
Yeah, and I may have to go off before we get to new business with Ryla. So I just want to throw in there that I reported today. We have paid for Ryla because it came from last year. We will have 3 students that attend. I am working on those right now. Just know that, as you all know, it's difficult to be in touch with kids, and but I have 3 very good potential members or students from Lincoln High School that will probably attend. And Ryla is allowing, it's usually juniors, but they're allowing juniors and seniors, since our seniors were not able to go as juniors last year.
Nice.
So right now I have 1 senior and 2 juniors that are probably going to be going, but they have to check with work and all of that kind of stuff. So that's that Ryla report. As far as youth services, and I will address the Cornerstone, we have gotten all of the materials for that, but because we were not able to meet and train anyone, we have not been able to do any of that this year. So I haven't talked with the schools, and especially one person in particular from Scott Lehman Elementary that's really in charge of it, where we are with that, and I will reach out to her to find out what's going on. They're excited to get going. It's just, as you know, it's been a tough time, and as we become more and more open, I know that Carrie Callahan, our assistant soon to be our superintendent, she is looking at doing a summer school program. And she and I have talked about the possibility of doing that Cornerstone during a summer program, because with the kids that have, summer school is really going to be for kids trying to get back up to their grade level. Those that have missed out on a lot, and we have a lot of that going on. So I will get more information about Cornerstone, but I think it's going to be an awesome program that will really be of value to our students and our school district and our community, making better students. And as I reported earlier today for our scholarships, that is coming up on May 17th. Brian will be attending. I will also be attending as a board member, but also I will be giving out some scholarships. But we will be giving 3 community service scholarships at $500 each. We will be giving 2 career tech scholarships for $500 each. There's 1 outstanding senior boy, 1 outstanding senior girl. That's $1,000 each. And we just got clarification on the Allen Bradford. There will be 2 recipients of that scholarship for a possible renewal for 4 years. So $1,000 this year, and then hopefully a total of $4,000 each as the students give me their information. And I want to clarify something with the Allen Bradford, because Laura Bradford has been asking the question, how are these students, when they apply for the renewal, how do we know that they're still in an engineering or a construction trades? I have them send me their, Christine, where are you? They do send me their registration of going to school.
I'm on a busy
as
corner, as you know.
I know. And they also send me their class list. So I do know that they're either in an engineering or in a construction trades program. So it's not like we're just giving that $1,000 each year that they ask for it. They are going through the steps that are set up for any of scholarships. And so I just wanted to clarify that, because there seems to be some.
Question. Is there a
Yes.
grade point criteria that needs to be met?
No, but we have never, ever had an issue with that. When you talk about an engineering or a construction trades, we really haven't had
Right.
one of those students, but engineering, they are top-notch kids. And they do send me their grades as well.
Okay.
And they're all A's and B's.
Can we add a requirement that when they graduate, they come to work for the city of Lincoln for a minimum of 5 years?
Well,
We can't find engineers to save our lives. I'm just throwing that out there.
Wow.
okay. Well,
It is
we
a trade
might
that
be
is
able
in
to
significant demand.
connect with some of the kids in the past.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Huh. I will.
Interns,
check that
whatever.
out.
Yep,
'Cause-
absolutely.
Unfortunately, most of them take off and go like to MIT and, Stanford and a few.
Well, but they don't
Actually, I
come
have
back home to Lincoln for the summer?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Some do, some don't.
I know my son went to Cal Poly, and he graduated about 5 years ago, and everyone in their graduating class was placed with an employer.
Oh.
It was 100% placement, and
Probably 6 months before graduation.
yes, yeah, exactly. And they're coming out of college making $100,000, and in a lot of cases going to like big cities. So all the kind of stuff that really attracts, a 22-year-old.
But Christine, if you would
send
if you'll send on to me the requirements or whatever the job description is, we can always get that advertised out there because there are some kids. I know one girl that was an engineer major. She's now a mom and I think they live locally. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we take part-time, we need engineers big time.
And they all get internships during the summer. So maybe if there's something they could write up or you could write up for a summertime internship, that would be really good too.
Yeah, I'll talk
And
to HR and my city engineer.
Okay. And lastly, well, not lastly, there's two other things. I wanted to know, did we send, Graciela, I guess this is for you. Did we send $1,000 to the Lincoln Library
Wi-Fi network. You can
One
contact
second.
for
in the help
the
roulette.
book for our speakers?
I'm sorry, but that got lost.
Have
Can you
we
say
sent, have we sent the $1,000 to the Lincoln Library for books that are supposed to be donated on behalf of us for our speakers?
I have not received a check request.
Okay, that's supposed to be Paul. He was going to do that. And that's why I was kind of wondering why we haven't been presenting, and there's your answer. Okay, I will check with Paul on that and what's going on. And then
All right.
lastly, we are.
That's easy
going
to
be
remedy. We need to get that done.
Yes, because I've been ready to do whatever, I don't know how we're gonna doing the books for speakers, but with all the
So,
speakers we had.
So what I heard, there's quite a few books still in the closet.
Huh, and with us
Yeah,
not being able to.
Paul said that last week, but
Yeah,
that's
Paul-
still not
Paul
a
said that
reason
at the
for us
last
not
meeting.
to have given them $1,000 for us to have books this year. Because even if we have
Right.
more books than speakers, we've always given $1,000 to them to buy children's books. In the last several years, we've asked for them to be nonfiction books.
Right.
So that because there weren't many fiction, there were mostly fiction books in the library, and we needed nonfiction because that's what the schools are asking kids to read these days.
Well, so I happen to have a connection with the Lincoln librarian. Do you want me to reach out to her and ask what their
No.
needs are?
Paul, I think Paul Radcliffe really wanted to do that. So
Okay.
let me reach out to him, see what happens with that. And then
Yeah.
I
Okay.
might be,
If not, circle up with me.
okay, I will.
Now I have
And
a-
then lastly, we are going to be giving $1,000 to grad night. There will not be a grad night this year, but a couple of parents have really been rallying around this year's seniors because they've missed out more than last year's seniors. They will have a graduation, but she is heading up a kind of a treasure hunt or a scavenger hunt for the seniors. She is going out and purchasing gift cards. She'll have cash. There's different prizes so that every graduate will get some sort of gift. And so that has been decided to give $1,000, which we always do every year to the grads of 2021. And that's the end of my report.
Christine, Chris, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
In regard to this coming year, when we, as a club, set our fundraising goal of what we're going to spend our money on, do you think, or can you, when you talk to the assistant new soup to be, about maybe they're starting 2 schools with the money we gave them last year for Cornerstone, if we were to go to 4 schools and fund them for 4 schools, if that would be something that they would like.
Oh, I'm sure she would. Okay, because they're very much have bought into this Cornerstone and put a lot of work into it already. Yep, I will check.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Chris.
Before Chris gets away, I've got another purpose here, but we're putting together the awards program for district, for the club. It has to be submitted within the next week. Under the club project benefiting a local school, Chris, I would assume the Wi-Fi would be the best one. And how many students ended up with Wi-Fi?
Well, all students ended up with Wi-Fi, but the ones that we served, it was probably about 23%. I can get that amount, but 23% of our total school district, which is about 7,000 kids.
Okay, maybe we can talk later, but if you'd give me some numbers, it'd help. Then a club event that involved children, what shall we be putting in there? Can't be the Wi-Fi program. What would you like?
Boy, that's hard because we haven't really been able.
What about letters to Santa?
Oh, we did do that. Yes. Thank you.
Letters
Larry.
to Santa. That's a good one.
I'm
That's
sorry,
probably,
say it again. What was it?
It's called
Letters to
Santa
Santa.
letters.
There's
It's
two
this-
people talking.
Okay.
it's the Santa's mailbox in downtown Lincoln where children put their letters in and volunteers wrote letters back from Santa.
Perfect. I've got one more that maybe not totally Chris's area, but for all of us. Do we do any local vocational awards to local individuals, organizations, or business to recognize high ethical standards and service to the community? We give them to students, but do we do any to other individuals?
No, not that I know of.
That's a good idea, though. That's good membership recruitment.
And
Yeah.
it's been talked about a lot, but we've never really implemented it.
There's actually a specific award that you can apply for to RI for that's for that.
Yeah,
It
Really?
would be super easy to do. It's like literally you send it in, they send you a certificate, you have them come to the meeting and give it out.
but we haven't done any recognition
No.
through the chamber or anything else, I guess. Okay. We lose the point there. That's all. I'm sorry to interrupt the flow, Brian, but that's valuable in helping get this finished up. Thank you.
It's that time of year.
Christine, I have a question though.
You
Could possibly, could the vocational part be kind of affected by the Lincoln Community Emergency Council? That might be far reaching, but
No, honestly,
because it's been us along with businesses and nonprofits.
yeah,
We didn't get award anybody anything.
we're not
but-
awarding anybody, but it was an effort to engage all those different communities to communicate with each other and serve the needs. I'd have to read the requirements of the item, but that maybe. You know, the great thing about these forms is you can mutate whatever you did to fit the requirements and check the box.
There you go.
Yeah. This one says recognize high ethical standards and service to the community. And it's not a vocational award, but that's all our contributions to the salt mine is a good.
Right. Well, I think recognizing contributions to the community, the Lincoln Community Emergency Council, we came together in short order and have been meeting regularly, not as much recently, but we will be soon again when we get to my agenda item to address needs in the community, whether it's business, nonprofit, and efficiently allocate available funds to the most exigent needs.
Yeah, we really don't even have to put a write-up. All we have to do is say if we did something. So I'll send that out to everybody and we can count that. I think Christine's right. I think we can count that council.
And
Did we have
Carol,
Yes,
Did the chamber have a leadership group this year? Because in the past, we've given money to the leadership or recognized them for what they've done, which might kind of be.
They
considered-
did not, but
No.
they're recruiting for next year.
all right. We
one other thing that I'd like,
we did sponsor, I think it was, who did we sponsor? We tried to sponsor Kimberly, but she didn't want it. But Anna Marie Dugan, somebody went to it and we paid for it, didn't we?
Anna Roa,
Anna Roa.
Yeah, okay.
or
We recognized Anna.
Money well
Okay.
spent.
I'm good with that.
One last thing is possibly, Brian, this might be a stretch too, but if we're going to be helping with the horseshoe pits, and that's definitely a community, I don't know, what would you call it, a community event or
Yeah.
community project?
Community project, yeah.
Because we're working with Lincoln Community Foundation, Lions Club, and the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, and they're starting a league, so it's going to be a regular thing. They're going to be out there every Thursday night.
Right.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, Chris.
sure.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right, Kimberly's not here. But the two things that I'm aware of in her group, I know there's a push to get the senior center done because of not only getting the project done from our perspective, but also to take advantage of the grant. And we have to have that written up and back by the 25th of May. The work can go on further than that, but it sounds like Paul and a number of us have said, okay, we'll be there to help on the project. So she's got that going on. And then also the horseshoe project, which would really fall under community service. But I haven't had a chance to talk with her this week. Moving on to RI Foundation. Clark, anything here, or do you want to just talk further down the list when we get to that piece?
I'll talk mainly further down the list, but I did just throw up the club fundraising analysis. You can see annual fund contributions are 5,257. Since your goal was 0, Brian, you're absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
You're beating it by a greater margin than any other president in the last 5 years.
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
I aim low so we could really
Yeah.
just blow it out.
yeah.
So
So total contributions for 2021 are actually ahead of 2019-20, 97-67, because we've given quite a bit into Polio Plus, which isn't part of the annual fund contributions.
Right.
We've given per capita about $110 per member versus the district per capita is 134. So doing pretty well there. And we've had 14 of our members have made contributions. Of those 14, all 14 have paid $100 or more. Paul Harris Society means they've actually given 1,000 or more. So 3 have done that. And that just kind of wraps up a quick look at what's been going on the foundation.
So just real quick, Clark, on this, there's a couple of numbers I need to talk to you about because I need to start inputting my numbers for next year into Rotary.org. One of them is membership goals. You know, how many do we want to be plus? Of course, I'm sure they would not appreciate me reporting a negative number. So we want to be plus what? And then we also need to give foundation giving and Polio Plus giving goals.
Right. So here you can see the annual fund goals for the last 5 years, and I can send you this report so you can look at it.
Yeah, if you could do that, but then I also don't want to report a number you're not comfortable with.
No, I'm cool. I can give you my thoughts on that too.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Zergoot. Yep.
Quick question. Did we devote a meeting program to Rotary Foundation topic between July 1 of 2020 and April 30, 21?
Yeah, I think I did. I did one meeting on
Yes.
that.
yes.
Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
good.
We did it. We did it in November, which was Foundation Month, right?
Perfect. You want 2 more questions on the words? We have people participating in Rotary fellowships. How about Rotary action groups?
Isn't Barbara working on a Rotary Action Group?
Yeah.
Barbara and Joanne.
DEI.
And so does Richard Pearl. Is he on the meeting here today? I think he belongs to the
Yes, he is.
playing group.
So we
No,
got it.
the plane group is a it's not an action group, it's a, I don't know what it, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm in two of them. It's the social groups.
I don't know. I've been involved in the Bravers, Angel, and Peace Committee at the district level. I'm not actually a committee member, but I've been
Those are
participating in
action
there.
groups.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah, those are action
participating.
groups.
Like we was in their movie night last night with Joanne and Barbara.
So I know it'll surprise you, but Jeff and I are members of the wine club and the whiskey club.
Oh, that
Hmm.
surprises me.
Rotary
And-
Wine Fellows and Rotary Whiskey Fellows. So I know that probably shocks you all. But.
No, we'll put that in the
I
awards.
would have never
Yeah.
guessed.
After I was president, they tried to get me to go to district, and I said I would be on the wine committee for quality control, but they didn't pick me up on it.
Pick
Oh,
you up on that.
darn it.
Since we're still on the subject, how about vocational service? Did we hold a networking event with local businesses? Any type of event with local businesses?
Wine Fest.
A
and,
fundraiser.
Sure that-
Well, no, didn't we sponsor a chamber breakfast?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
we
are.
did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, what was that?
A chamber breakfast.
We sponsored a chamber breakfast.
Okay.
And the
we got it.
wine fest, it involves 17 wineries and probably at least 15, well, at least 17 local businesses.
Yeah.
22
DLA.
actually, 22.
Oh,
You
even
get-
better.
With the wineries and the breweries, I think it was 22.
You're right.
Well, the problem is we did that last year. That was in
Yeah.
last year's.
No,
Oh, we did it last fall.
well,
We
This
did it in the
year,
fall.
right?
Oh, when we did the
We
small
had a
one.
meeting.
Yeah, we did the small one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had a
Yeah,
meeting like
okay.
in the fall.
perfect. Perfect. We did not participate in District Rise Against Hunger project. I think that's true. I don't think we did.
No.
Some of our members did though. Did anybody donate direct to them?
No idea.
Okay, we better put a signal. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. But we're getting this thing done.
All
Our
right.
local
Thank you.
community project will be the senior citizen.
Yeah.
What shall we put for our second one?
Blood drive.
Blood
Well,
drive?
it's got its own listing.
Okay.
And also the horseshoes.
And the horseshoes, yeah.
Well,
Horseshoe pit repair.
I think all the rest of them I filled out on here. Give me one
Right.
second. All right, Brian, I know I'm interrupting here, but hey, this
All
is,
right. You just helped me finishing up the awards thing I was working on. Perfect.
it sure makes it easier than it was last year. Thank you.
Which is good because I'm already working on mine. I haven't even started yet.
Hey, that's the time to start working on, the awards is, we don't really do things to get awards, but the Rotary citation and some things like that, it recognizes it's
all
well
good.
worth the time.
It's all good.
All right. Okay, Clark, got you covered. So let's move on to Club Foundation.
Yes, Club Foundation. We were talking about this earlier in the Bradford Scholarship. We approved funding for 2 scholarships at $1,000 each. We revised the investment policy to clarify the temporary fund investments. We approved the Lincoln Rotary Club properties bylaws, and we elected board and officers for next year. Any questions?
No. Okay. Thank you for that, John. Properties. Yeah.
As we talked about earlier, we're waiting for the written court summary on the DART trust distribution. That's coming. We approved the Huber property management agreement. we continue to work with Cornerstone and David to finalize our insurance on our properties. We elected the board and officers for next year. And the county, Placer County hearing on assessed values has been pushed back to July. So we'll meet in July. And all vacant lots have been mowed. That was done very recently.
Great.
We actually used a tenant of in one of our homes to do that, and
Oh,
did a good job.
nice.
I'd like to add on again.
Sure.
I talked with the trustee. She tried to call the court today. She expects that the written summary to show up this week. And she's calling them daily to find out when she can go get her hands on it. One of the things about the Huber management, property management program is our board has approved it and the foundation board has approved it, but that takes us back to the MOU. It's a fairly large contractual obligation. I make a motion that we as the board of the Rotary Club of Lincoln approve the management project based on recommendations from the property committee and the foundation committee.
I'll second
I'd
it.
second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm looking forward to it.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope.
You fit it in there.
Okay,
And John, I'm sorry for jumping in. We need to make sure we're gonna have the club approve the foundation officers, the new officers.
Right.
Yeah, does the club need to do that?
Yes.
It does.
It's
It needs to
for
be on.
It's for insurance purpose so that
Okay,
we're
okay.
covered under E&O.
Okay, so the foundation officers for next year are going to be myself as president, Jerry Johnson as vice president, Prema Stewart secretary, and Graziella Loker as treasurer.
So,
We-
so I think what the formality here is, we as a board should probably vote one way or another to support that and make a recommendation to the club, but the club as a whole does need to vote. As I understand it.
I could set up a poll for next week's Zoom meeting
Good.
to take that vote.
So I think at this point, I would make a motion to endorse the board of directors for the Lincoln Rotary Foundation.
I'll second that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope, okay.
Great. Yeah, so now you can just set up a poll that says the board of directors is recommending we adopt the board of directors as voted in for the foundation, and do you approve, yes or no? That'd be great.
Just a point of order. They're actually the trustees as opposed to the
Sorry,
term directors.
trustees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Mhm.
All right,
Before we leave properties, just a small thing for the social person there, that Claire Luke that's listening in. Once we take title to these properties, which we feel is imminent, but later on, we could have a club function on one of the vacant lots down on East 11th and get some tables. Maybe we have a work party and then have an evening social. Just an idea. There's big you
Sounds
the
good.
streets or shade, everything.
you had me until you said work party. No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, we could have, maybe even have a food truck or something come out there.
And cornhole.
Yes.
So I still
Yeah.
want to, while we're on the properties issue, just quickly, I want to reiterate, when I went on the properties tour and we have that, 40-acre property, there's a lot of wetlands, there's a lot of what looks to appear like protected species. I think the best way to monetize that property is going to be through the Placer County Conservation Program. So I just want to throw that out there. And if you guys would like me to come to a meeting and make a presentation about how that could potentially be monetized, I'm happy to do that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Great.
Could that be done with the life estate still on the property?
It could be. So basically what would happen is we could, if Placer County Conservation Program would send their own ecologists and scientists out there, and they would survey the property and go, oh yeah, you've got these species, etc., on this property, and we're interested in owning it because then it can be part of compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act requirements for developers developing properties. Then they purchase it from us and they hold it in trust for developers to buy credits into, but they could buy it subject to that life estate.
Okay.
And then once the life estate goes away, they have full title.
I think that's a tremendous idea. Rather, if we could
Yeah.
monetize that right away.
Absolutely.
But
So
what
that's
kind of,
my
what
2
kind of
minutes.
value,
Investigating.
Christine, what kind of a value would they pay?
The PCA just got, the Placer County Authority just got started. So they haven't actually purchased anything yet. So I don't know that answer. So we
Sure.
might be the test project, but 40 acres with what I saw out there,
Well,
that's going to have some very valuable developer credits.
It's not like they don't pay fair market value, right?
No, they do.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's
a fair-
essentially, it's equivalent to eminent domain. They have to pay what the market will bear.
Okay,
and then the developers buying the credits is how they eventually fund all the cash
Right.
back that they put out for those properties.
Right. And
It's a
through
great,
the
great
PCC
idea.
Through the PCCP, they also get a streamlined program for getting all of their various permits through all the different
Yeah, I
agencies.
think we
So,
have. Let's get the title and then we'll be there. We can talk it. That'd
Right.
be
That's
nice.
that's
Yeah.
my 2 cents. I just wanted to remind everybody that was on the call that when the time comes, I can present or I can get the right people to present.
super,
Perfect.
great.
I have a suggestion on the work party. Clark has the garden plots. Somebody has to work on some point. Clark, could we do a work party on the garden plots, then go have a party on the vacant lot?
Yeah, we could. I've got a note here to call Kimberly because we're kind of lagging on our duties for the community garden plots we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
She said she
And
was
if-
going out to work on them a couple of weekends ago, and I don't know if she did or not. So I have to go
No,
find out.
nobody went there. Mm-mm.
Well, and we don't have to do it on a vacant plot where we have to rent a bunch of tables and stuff. I live 2 blocks away, so I'm happy to
Yep.
host
We just
the
need-
post work party.
Well, let's have 2 work parties and 2 parties.
There you go.
Yep. Now that we're all vaccinated.
Just make sure we have an accordion.
That's right.
All right. Okay, great. Thanks, Christine. Thank you, John, for the update on properties. And
bet.
let's move on to World Community Service. Richard?
Okay, there we go. Yes, I reported today. Before last week, I spoke with Brian and I asked how much money we still have available and whether we could spend up to the max. We previously held off spending up to the max, which was $11,800. We held back $3,800 because we didn't know what was going to happen with the fundraising, and we did well. So Brian said, we're clear to go. So we had a meeting last week after the regular meeting, and a number of initiatives came up, and the group is totally in favor of this. So the first one is a new project with Tanis Munro's Bangladesh project over there, education, and we voted to put $1,000 into that. There are a number of U.S. clubs and worldwide Rotary clubs that are involved with her, and she sent me a list. I think there's something like 20 some odd just in California alone. A couple in the Bay Area, a whole bunch of ones down south. So no, this is not a new initiative. That's in there and in place. And I communicated all this with her, and I told her we'll see what happens next year. But right now, we're in for $1,000. Then we also wanted to increase two of our existing projects. One is $1,400 to St. Luke's Haiti project. And this is water purification and some food supplement areas in that, but basically it's water improvements, water project improvements. And another $1,400 for additional funding to the Teppewa Community Center. We've been working with these people for years and years, and a number of us have gone on site and saw the great things that they were doing. So that's totaling up to the $3,800. We're clear. All the checks will be ready to go. And that's where we stand with Rural Community Services so far. Open to any questions.
So I have a question, and maybe Karen is best placed to answer it. My understanding is that the fundraisers we do this year are the funds to fund programs next year.
Yes, that's what I've always tried to encourage the club to do. Sometimes they have disagreed with that philosophy.
Well, that's every Rotary Club I've ever been with. It's the fundraisers for this calendar year fund next year.
Yes.
And so
We should not be, in my opinion, we should not be touching the money we earned this year and spending it this year. But I think that maybe the money that we're talking about is money that we earned last year and was allocated out for spending of this year.
And that's fine, as long as we have that in the budget. One of Richard's first comments was, since we did so well with the fundraiser, and I was like, oh, whoa.
It's my money.
I talked to Brian about that.
And it's not that I don't think those projects are great, but I know that I'm going to have we've had a lower fundraising year this year, and I'm going to have a lot of chairs fighting over what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian had a lot more money this year, and I encouraged him not to spend all of it because we didn't know how much we were going to make. So I'm not in the situation to say, do not spend what you allocated at the beginning of the year. But last year we made close to, I think, $60,000, and this year we really made 30. So we made half of that. And we were hopeful last year when Brian and I talked that maybe not this year, but next year we'd be able to pull a little bit money from the properties that we inherited. But we also were aware that it might take another year or two to be able to draw from those items. And that's what appears to be, from my discussion, our discussion here, it appears to be at least another year before we might be able to draw or receive monies from them for the club, for the foundation, our club foundation. So I don't know how much of that money that we earned last year we have committed and spent, Brian, but I would encourage that some of that, and I assume there is, some of that is not being spent. Graciela maybe knows more than that could be carried over to next year.
Yeah, I have it. I don't have it right in front of me, but we won't be spending. I gave, Richard had, I gave him the ability to move forward. I know Chris is spending far less than what she normally would be spending. And then I still haven't gotten anything from community services, but I don't see them spending a lot of money between now and then either. So we'll be well below what we originally had budgeted. So not tapping into all those funds, which will allow some of that to move forward to you. But maybe because I'm happy to go over that with you, Christine, maybe, and just kind of look at where we think we'll start the year. Maybe Umi and Graziella can get on that.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get together and talk budget for next year anyway. So maybe, Richard, are these really time sensitive? If we could defer this to next month?
How do you mean deferred? You mean the final approval?
Yeah.
I don't see a reason for him to have to defer the ones he's got in
Okay.
motion.
Okay, Brian, if you're comfortable with it, I'm that's fine.
Because
That's
we
good.
haven't, we've cut way back on the amount of money that we've actually spent. So, okay, all right.
I'm fine with it. Then I would move to approve Richard's revised spending budget.
It's not revised, it was in the budget.
Oh, okay. Then
Before he
there's,
spent it, I wanted to talk with each um, uh, chair of each of those committees.
Gotcha.
For that very reason, yeah.
So this is just a report out.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. All right,
Okay.
cool.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and my apologies for not understanding the mechanics of how that worked.
Oh, no, you understood it, right?
Yeah, you understood it. It's like a bouncing ball, right? We're trying to figure out what all's going on. It's
Yeah.
all good.
And
Okay.
since this was small enough, it was like, okay, let's just move forward. It was already really approved. So, yeah.
No, those are great projects. I think
Our
that's
bigger
amazing.
savings is going to come from what Chris isn't spending and then what
Community service,
isn't
yeah.
spending, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Richard. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Richard. All right, Claire, anything on the social?
We have 29, Johnson's, are you gonna come? Karen?
Yes, we'll be there.
Okay, we have 29 signed up already or now.
Oh, great.
And yeah, and I've got the menu out and I've been talking to the gal at the hell at I can't.
Rebel Hen.
Thank you, Rebel Hen. And her name's Darby. Anyway, she's gonna plan something for us and get it good. We don't want to have bowls where people are picking into it. So if we do have a big salad, we might just have one person serve the big salad, period, to each one. But
Mhm.
she's gonna make a trays of different sandwiches or some of the scones. Anyway, it's gonna be good. So, and Brian's taking care of the tournament. She's gonna get a message out to people, sign up some teams. I've already had a couple of people ask about the team, so I told them that you'd be sending something out, Brian. And then
Yep.
everything, I mean, everybody seems to be excited about it. I think they just want to get out and see people. So
Yeah, and just as an additional point, so the owners of Rebel Hen, which is up in the Lincoln Brand Feeds building near Buonorati, she is, I'm told, the head chef at the new restaurant that's going into the old Beerman's Plaza, which is, I've heard multiple names, but I've heard it's now the Antlers Lodge or something, Antlers Steakhouse or something like that. So, yeah, so their food is really good.
yeah,
Hopefully-
it's different sounding, good, lots of fresh things. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be good.
I think it'll be fun.
And the people at the couple at Doing Dogs is excited about having us come. So I think it's a win-win all the way around.
All right. Great. Thank you very much, Claire.
Mhm.
Looking forward to next week.
Yep.
Yep. Christine, anything on the emergency council then?
Yeah, so real quickly, we have not met for quite a while just because there hasn't really been a lot to talk about. But now that we have received confirmation that from this latest round of federal funding, the city of Lincoln is going to be receiving about $9 million in money that can go to authorized COVID expenses. We've had one outreach meeting with Chamber, DLA and kind of some of those related entities, county agencies. We're working on coming up with a list of priorities. And then I'm going to be sending it out to the Lincoln Community Emergency Council for their further input so that we can start creating a list of priorities and what is the order of most need. But, I think there's going to definitely be room in that $9 million for somebody like the Rotary Lincoln Club to, get some benefit for our deficit year. I think there's going to be a lot of space for a lot of organizations like us, the Women's Club, the Lions Club, to get $2,500 to $5,000 to just make up for that deficit so that we can move forward and pick up from where we left off. So there'll be more information coming out about that, but I think it's all good news. $9 million is a lot of money. A lot of it, I think, is ultimately going to end up going toward infrastructure and dealing with some of the issues that the city is dealing with, especially related to our wastewater treatment facility and an expansion that is gravely needed. But more information on that as we go forward.
Great. Yeah, good news. Thanks, Christine.
Mm.
Okay, I'm going to jump here a little bit for Clark's benefit. He's got a hard break here. So Clark, if you want to go ahead and pick up where you want. Okay.
Okay. One of the things I was asked to look at was, about potentially us becoming an all Paul Harris club. So I'm just going to show you a few things with respect to that. Currently, we have 48 members, of which 33 are Paul Harris Fellows. We have 15 non-Paul Harris Fellow members currently. If I ran a report here, this kind of shows you who the 15 are and whether they have any points at all or not. Most of them don't have points. We have a few that do. And it shows that's the number of points they need basically on the far right-hand column to get a Paul Harris Award. So total, we need 13,988 points. Right now, the club has almost 65,000 points available. That includes the club points. Whoops, let me go back to this. It's covering mine's covering part of my stuff here, so I can't see the bottom. I think we have 57,000 points. I don't know if you can see it. My control thing is covering it up.
Yeah,
there I can see.
There you go.
Yeah, 57,586 are the points we have just from members alone. And I'll kind of show you here. These are members with foundation recognition points that they could transfer. These are all the members with over 2,000 points. So right there with just these members, we have 38,000 points. And there's another, 12 members that have 1,000 or more recognition points that they could give away. And these recognition points can only be used once. So, and if you pass away, they're gone. If we lost Pete, his 7,700 points would just disappear. They don't get to be transferred. He can't transfer them to the club and then the club transfer them again. You can only transfer recognition points a single time. So here's the options if we wanted to be an all Paul Harris club. And you only have to do this once in your club history. And then you're known as an all Paul Harris club forever. Even if a year later you don't have all Paul Harris people. But so for the 15 members that might receive Paul Harris Awards, one option we'd ask them all to pledge donations required over the next 5 years to earn a Paul Harris Foundation fellowship. And then they would be willing, if asked, to donate up to 15% of their transfer points to a new club member in the future. And also as part of this, we could donate for every amount donated over $100 per year, we'd match up to $200 transfer points to that member to earn their second Paul Harris Award. We've done that actually for years where up to $200 a year, we'd match 200 points. So if you paid $500 over 3 years, you would actually get your Paul Harris Award of 1,000 points with a $500 donation because of the transfer points. Or second option is we could just do this one time, have everybody donate it and require nothing from the new members. Or we could say, okay, new members, we're going to do this for you, but we'd like you to donate at least $10 a year to Rotary Foundation with no other pledge required, and at least get them in the habit of making some donation, but with maybe not saying you have to give us, $100 a year for 5 years. So that's basically, I think, what I put together on this. The options, there's many options. I just kind of threw these out as 3 possibilities. So I guess the question would be, how many would be in favor of, asking some of our members to put up these 14,000 points we need to become an all Paul Harris club and have everybody have a Paul Harris fellow. And then if we do that, what should we ask in return for those who receive this? Thoughts?
I think it's a great idea, having come from 2 previous all Paul Harris clubs. We in Santa Maria, it was, I mean, it's kind of terrible to say, but it was sort of like you became a new member and then the next month you got your Paul Harris, and we, you know, talked about how amazing Paul Harris was and what all the purposes of these monies are. And then when they signed up as a member, they agreed they were going to be billed every quarter for $25, and that was going to go to pay it forward. So I think as long as during the membership track, it is clear that this is the expectation and this is why, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's an amazing thing.
So you're kind of saying option one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there
Like
should be
the Roseville Club, they bill everybody $100 a year for Paul Harris. For
No,
annual
I
giving,
think,
I should say.
well,
Whereas
well,
we've never
and
done that. We've always kept it voluntary here.
well, I think it's particularly for, you know, for presidents, it's good to have a little stability because you've got all of these district criteria that you've got to meet. And one of them is I have to go in to Rotary.org and enter what are our goals for all of these items. And if we had a policy in place that said, this is what we're expecting members to do, then it's much easier than saying, well, it's all voluntary, so it's kind of a crapshoot. I don't, you know, I have no way of predicting who's going to donate what.
Yeah, and it is $100 a year, a reasonable amount. $50 a year be a better amount.
I
But-
think if we're going to start out, $50 a year is probably more palatable. And then, you know, then you take temperatures. I mean, if you lose members because of that, I'm kind of, my attitude is if you lose members over $50 a year, they're probably not true Rotarians anyway.
Yeah. And I would say if we could say 50, but you only get the match if you do at least 100.
I agree. That's
It's
a good,
kind of an extra incentive to do the other $50.
I
So-
agree.
I would encourage that automatically goes on to, if we do $50 or $100, it automatically goes on to their bill that they receive quarterly. So
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
the only way to do it.
it'd be $12.50 a quarter if it's $50, or it's $25 a quarter if we do $100. Either way, I think it definitely should go on to that. And
It
I
goes
know-
on their bill. Otherwise, there's no way of monitoring.
So the question is then, if we do option one, we basically have to get all 15 members to pledge to this. And if one of them says no, then we're not going to be an all Paul Harris club. We won't pull the trigger on the whole thing.
I think,
Well, but like you said, there's several other members that are in there that maybe less than, like, I know I've got less than 2,000, but more than 1,000 points, and I donate them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're, you know.
No, it's not.
you're
The
just-
points aren't the issue. Is do we have, under option one, my thinking was that all 15 of those members who are not Paul Harris actually have to pledge that they're going to pay
gotcha.
$50 a year for the next 5 years or $100 a year for the next 5 years. And if they don't pledge, then we're not going to give them the Paul Harris, and then we're not going to be an all Paul Harris club. So
Clark, I would say that we give everybody the Paul Harris without asking them that they have to give the money, but that we
moving
like
forward.
them
Yeah.
to sign a pledge that they would do the $25 a quarter or $100 for 5 years, and sign a pledge that if they don't sign the pledge, we still give them the Paul Harris so that we can become an all Paul Harris club membership.
Right. But now we know you.
Yeah, there's an asterisk by their Paul Harris. Yeah.
Right.
No,
Right.
So, yeah, I like this program, and I definitely think, those getting it should have some skin in the game. So, by
Yeah.
by
So the
doing
pledge will still be
$25 a quarter.
voluntary. We'll give them the Paul Harris. And if they sign the pledge, great. If they don't sign the pledge, so be it. But
Yeah,
we'll
right.
probably gain some more money out of it. Rotary will gain some good money out of it anyway. And then we'll kind of make this an expectation of new members going forward.
I think that we definitely should make that a policy that new ones automatically get it, just like what Christine explained before of her
Yeah.
club.
So I like the idea of going with $50, But hey, if you give us 100, we'll match 100 for you, up to 200. If you give us 200, we'll match 200. If you give us
Right.
300, we're still only going to match 200. That sound okay?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That sounds
Okay.
good. Yep.
Hold on 1 second. My wife's wondering what's going on. Did you get my text? I just texted you. You may have to go up real quick. I'll be right behind. I have to. I don't have any choice. Oh, I'm not. You're not muted.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
I'll be done in just a second. Okay, let me go on to the next. So I think
Clark,
we're good on that. Do we need
Clark, I
a
don't-
motion on that or?
Well, one thing more, I don't have a problem with, since we have so many club points, I have no problem with saying for every $100 up to $500, we will give you 100 points, because then they will
Yeah.
get closer to their Paul Harris really fast. And we have lots of points to give away, so why
Yeah.
be picky about them and only
Yeah,
go to?
we have
200?
about 7,000 club points.
Yeah. 5 to
So-
1 until expired. Yeah.
All right.
First come,
Okay.
first serve.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So do we
All
want
right.
to entertain a motion
I
to
so move.
provide for all, Paul, let me just
Yep.
say what it would be and somebody can move it. So,
Yeah.
so we'll give Paul Harris awards to these 15 members. We'll ask them to sign a pledge of $50 a year that'll be invoiced quarterly. And for anybody who donates over $100 a year, we'll match up to $500 for dollar, up to $500 per year.
Until expired. First come, first serve.
Yep.
Yep.
I would make that motion.
I second it.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Okay.
opposed? Any
Cool.
opposed? Any opposed? No. Okay. Any abstentions? No. Okay. There you go, Clark. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, so this is on the hybrid Rotary Club. And I gotta thank Art. Art found some incredible resources when we go back to meet together, how we could include everybody who's there live, but also have a Zoom meeting at the same time. And so I'm just gonna kind of run through this. The idea of this hybrid club is that it kind of combines the best of two worlds. You can meet at the Women's Club and Zoom, and that all happens simultaneously. Obviously, the benefit is it provides two ways to attend. It saves time. It provides safety for people who might be worried about getting together right away. Secondly, speakers can present to us from anywhere in the world. By the way, this club that came up with this, when they were missing a speaker, you know what they do? They download a TED Talk. They find a really cool TED Talk, and that's their speaker for the day. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. I'd never thought of that before.
Yeah. Great. idea.
And the third thing is that we can interact with each other and our speakers from anywhere. So that's kind of the idea. So here's kind of the steps. Phase 1 is we need to get quotes for Wi-Fi service, which I have. I'll show you those in a second. We need to work with the Women's Club to get Wi-Fi internet installed, purchase a webcam, test a webcam and Wi-Fi internet with the existing speakers, computer, and projector system. That's kind of phase 1. Phase 2 is where we'd have to determine if we bought some other equipment shown below, where we'd store it there. Acquire a large screen TV and a moving stand that would move on. We'd need to acquire a new laptop or possibly 2, determine if we can use the current speaker system, and then train a few people on operation of the system, because it is a little sophisticated. So here's the stuff on Wi-Fi. I'm sorry I'm going through this so fast. I can send this out to everybody. Bottom line is AT&T actually has fiber to the Women's Club, and their installation cost is $100, as is Wave's, but AT&T will give us a $100 Visa card if we sign up to basically negate the $100 installation fee.
Okay.
From a speed perspective, Wave is 55 megs down and 10 megabits up. AT&T fiber is 100 megabits each way. The cost per month is $70 with Wave and $50 with AT&T. All the equipment, the router, the modem is all included. On Wave, if the Women's Club wanted a phone line, it'd be $20. I don't know what it is with AT&T if they needed that or wanted that, but that's totally optional. Higher speeds, Wave for 110 megs down and 20 up is $179 a month. AT&T is 300 up, 300 down, $90 a month, or a gig, 1,000 megabits per second up and down is 120 a month. I think we'd be fine with 100 for what we'd be doing. From a contractual standpoint, Wave requires a year, AT&T is month to month. So my recommendation would be to go with AT&T since they have fiber into the building. That'll be extremely reliable, and it's obviously faster and cheaper than Wave. So how do we work with the Women's Club? Well, we have kind of two options as I thought about it. One, we'd provide the hybrid meeting system, the TV, the laptop, the mixers, so they could use it for their events or events they want to rent out, and they pay all the Wi-Fi costs, but we'd have to provide a lot of training for them to use the system. Secondly, we could have exclusive use of the hybrid meeting system and pay for part of the monthly Wi-Fi costs as part of our meeting rental fees. And the storage of the big screen TV and cart would need to be determined and see if there's an additional, cost for that or not from the Women's Club. So we could figure that out. Some of the things we need to put a mixer in. We may have this in our current speaker system, I'm not sure, but you have to mix the Zoom sound and the live sound together so it's all synced up. Otherwise you get this lag that you sometimes hear. But a mixer is $79. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
We obviously need a webcam, $100. We need a few cables. These are, $10, $20, no big deal. I'm not going to go through every possible thing. Can we pull this off? A district in Minnesota, 5950's done this. They've provided every resource to make this happen. Art found this. I've got all the training links to it, and Art has agreed to help me with this. And basically we've got all their videos on how to train, we've got their buying guides. We have everything. And that's kind of what I put this together for. So I was at Costco yesterday. You can get new laptops for about $600, up to 1,000, but you really need two. I don't know if we could use one of our existing or we'd want to get two new ones, but you need one for the speaker, the presenter up at the front. And then you need one for the Zoom host technician, who are kind of like what I do for the meetings. You really need two. Large screen TVs, it's unbelievable. 65 inches are $500 to $600. 70 inches are $700. 75 inches, $900 to $950, and 82 inches is about $1,500 if you wanted to get that big. Go up and meet them. I'll be right there. Sorry, I have to finish, honey. I just need 2-3 minutes. I am. Rolling TV stand. This is a stand we could get. I found them on Amazon, about $150. This will hold up to a 75-inch TV. So the total cost, if you did two laptops, the TV, the rolling TV stand, the webcam, the cables, around $3,220. And that's the last slide, actually. So I won't get her too mad at me because we're supposed to be there right now.
Well,
So
Clark,
I'm not expecting you to vote on this right now. I just wanted to present it. Art and I will get into a little more detail, and then, because phase one, we basically only need to buy a webcam. And we could try with our projector and our speakers we have to kind of phase one, do it. And then if we want to move to phase two, we did take a little extra investment. So just wanted to kind of brief you today on that.
So if
Well,
we got,
Did you, Clark,
if
did you
we
talk
got just,
to,
Clark,
Did I
if we
talk to,
got
yes,
just-
I did talk to Larry, and kind of the way Larry was going about it is not how I would do it at all. He was using a WhatsApp app, and this district in Minnesota has figured this out. Guys, I really have to run. If you have some questions, maybe just email them to me. But unfortunately, I've got kind of a hard stop. I have to go.
Yeah, my only quick
So-
point is that I think this is a great idea. It's also probably something that would be available for funding under our COVID funding that's coming into the city, because it's servicing a need that's related to COVID, and it's going to benefit multiple nonprofits. So just, I can't guarantee that we would get that money, but I think it would definitely fit under the guidelines as I've seen them in draft.
The
Hey,
one
Brian,
question I have
I'm
is-
gonna make you the host, by the way, right now, so you can take it over. Go ahead. What was the
Thank you.
question?
Yeah,
There's a question,
if
Brian?
we got just the webcam now, would we be able to move forward with a May 6th return
Yeah.
to a meeting and then start to expand as we,
Well, if we get the Wi-Fi in there.
uh,
The
So I
Wi-Fi
gotta
is the
go.
big thing.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
check on that and let you know.
Okay.
They're
Thanks,
giving
Mark.
me a firm quote. Bye.
yeah, all right, thank you.
Divorces are expensive.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why they're worth it.
Brian,